everybody. Richard Tromans here again at Artificial Lawyer TV. Today we're interviewing Varun Mehta, who is the CEO of Factor, a company that initially sort of originated out of Axiom, but is now very much on its own 2 feet. Very nice to have you with us, Varun.
Absolutely. Great to talk to you again, Richard. I remember talking to you around a year ago just now, and it's great to continue the conversation.
Fantastic. And we'll come back to that in a moment, which is that you're close to celebrating the first birthday of your time there, but we'll come back to that in a minute. First of all, I think let's just get into conducting complex work at scale and really sort of being a master of that area in the legal world. I mean, that's something that Factor is focused on. And let's just kind of maybe just describe to the audience a little bit about what Factor does and what complex work at scale means in this context.
Absolutely. When I look at the market, the last business I built was largely in the e-discovery and document review space, litigation investigation work. And that market has become very mature. There's tremendous number of great providers and suppliers and partners out in the market. And to much extent, if you've seen, actually the market has bifurcated there. Law firms are doing very little of that work. A few of them have decided to specialize into it, but others have kind of said, hey, there's a great group of companies. Many of these companies are now approaching unicorn or billion-dollar status. And we've seen a lot of great work. What we've seen, though, is from there, it felt like some of that transformation or the redefinition of the legal market kind of started to slow because people were like, well, what's the next space? And I think a lot of it came down to the fact that, there was a void in the biggest part of the market. So there's always going to be a need and a requirement for high-end advisory services from firms like Allen and Overy, from Cadwaladers, the DLAs. And then there's always going to be a need for e-discovery and kind of, almost what I call them is they're not legal services. These are services part of the legal process, right? And that's kind of at the lower end. What we're trying to do is really focus ourselves in the middle. So what is complex legal work at scale? The important work that every business needs to do to transact, to grow, to buy things, to sell things, but it doesn't necessarily need a 1,500 pound per hour partner to really help handle that. These require experienced lawyers coupled with a trusted process and a touch of technology to help kind of bring it all together. So that's really where we're focused. The way that manifests for most people, I know it sounds really nice, but it's, for some of the largest pharmaceutical companies in the world, we handle all of their buy-side contracting. Everything they buy, we're the ones who draft, negotiate, and execute those agreements. For some of the largest financial services players, companies in the world, we'll handle all of their capital markets documentation. Anytime they're selling a new product, we're the ones who are codifying that in a document, drafting, negotiating back and forth, and we across the globe. And in other ways that manifests is anything related to transactions. So we're doing quite a bit of work in what we're saying transaction management. How do we help improve that process? In general, Factor has a team of about 500 people around the globe, most of which are lawyers. And most of those lawyers, unlike my last firm where our average experience level kind of was 0 to 6, with 6 being the highest. In Factor, what was really exciting is that the average experience was 6, but it ranges up to 30 years of experience.
Wow. So in many ways, you are like a law firm in many ways. But I mean, are you regulated as a law firm, or are you regulated or as a, I don't know, how does that work?
No, currently we're a company. We technically do not provide legal advice. We know that there's this dichotomy here. Ultimately, we do work either at the instruction of one of the law firms that we partner with. Allen and Overy has been a great partner for us in certain work streams, or we'll work at the instruction of a in-house counsel or a general counsel. Ultimately, all of that is how we're doing it, how it kind of comes together. But we are really investigating and looking at the different kind of regulatory changes that are happening across the different markets we operate in to see if any of those would make sense for us.
Okay, it's interesting because obviously in the UK you could pretty much do anything you want. Uh, you could well, that's a different story, but there's
Yeah,
as you
that's
know,
right. That's
you
true,
can pretty much do anything you want really.
for
So
sure.
let's stay with the subject. But I think I know we both know the answer to this question, but devil's advocate, why can't law firms just do all this stuff?
Look, I think weirdly they can. If you think about the law firm model, it
Mm,
is, we debate this a bit internally. It is complex work at scale, right? It's designed not, the law firm engagement model with corporations currently is designed on a matter by matter level, right? So each thing is a new process or project.
mm,
And because of that kind of setup, and because of the way kind of the incentive models and the compensation models at law firms, um, it there hasn't been an incentivization to really think about portfolios of work over longer periods of time, right? Law firms are focused on profit per partner this year, right?
mm.
And hopefully it goes up from last year. They don't really care about profit per partner 5 years from now. A few people do, I'm sure the chairmen of these firms do, and the senior leadership does, but an individual person doesn't. What we've done is we've realized that if we bring together portfolios of work in a more structured way, once again, that doesn't mean that you can just send it all offshore somewhere, and it doesn't mean that you can just throw it into a piece of technology and automate it. We're taking teams of skilled attorneys that have a ton of experience, coupling them with, once again, we do have junior attorneys as well. We're one of the top recruiters out of places like Belfast, Chicago, and Wrocław, which is where our big centers are, right out of the law schools there. But taking those and coupling them with an element of process, and the process isn't just for this specific matter, it's across the portfolio. So you're getting those benefits of scale. Usually law firms don't think about that. If they do apply process, they usually apply it to a matter, not a portfolio. And then we're adding in technology, which we're seeing firms definitely start to embrace more, but it still is a bit ad hoc in a practice by practice or partner by partner or matter by matter. So it's taking portfolios of work, putting a dedicated team against it. So you're getting that knowledge management, you're getting that kind of institutional knowledge codified, and doing it in a more effective way, still using skilled attorneys, which is driving a better value, but it's also driving iterative improvement. We're constantly focused, how can we make this process better? How can we improve the quality of work for the people that are on our teams, which in essence improves the quality of work for our clients.
Gotcha. And where are the mandates coming from? Are they coming from the law firms because they need that capability, or are the clients coming to you directly, the large corporates, and saying, actually, we want you to do all this from now on? Effectively, you're a kind of outsourced part of their legal function, or what the
I think
big
that's
four
right.
call legal managed services. I mean, is it like that?
Yeah. So I think it's funny you said the big four call it legal managed services. Many of them are just entering this market today. And I'm
Sure.
excited about that. I'm really excited about that because I think it'll help shift the tide. This business, although we're coming on our first anniversary as an independent business, has been doing legal managed services at the complex level for nearly a decade under the Axiom, previously under the Axiom banner, and to a certain extent, uh, I like to believe, not me, but this business or Axiom really invented that market of truly complex legal managed services. When I think about that, most of the work comes directly from the general counsel's office. Although there's a lot of encouragement to partner with firms. So we do have certain firms that we've built a great relationship with, where we bring together great ideas on how to get this work done. Recently, one of our financial services clients said, I have this issue, I need some help. I'd love to use a really high-end firm, but it's going to blow my budget. And I said, don't worry, we're partners with this firm, or we can work with this firm to build a collaborative model so we can make sure we're getting their advice and they're doing the things that that firm is bringing the highest value to. and we're helping to drive the execution. It's really this advisory versus execution. There's no hard black line here. It's definitely gray, but more advisory from the law firms is what we look for. More execution from Factor is what they look for. And that's where these mandates are coming from. That's the types of ways we partner together. Yeah.
Gotcha. No, it's interesting. And let's just skip through a couple of quick ones. On the tech side, you do you or don't you develop your own tech, or you work with third-party vendors and whoever fits the bill for that project?
Absolutely. So we do not develop our own tech, but we're strong believers. At this point, we're probably one of the largest, if not the largest, kind of managed services shop solely focused on contracts. All we do is contracts. We handled about 1 million contracts last year. So we bring a lot of scale to these tech partners. So I was just looking at our database just yesterday. We've tested and validated nearly 30 different legal tech tools in the contract lifecycle space. We're constantly looking at the right tools for the right types of work in our environment. And so we partner with a number of firms, some that are kind of very public, like Kira, and we've done some great work building alongside those guys. They've done some great stuff, but we have a number of great partnerships that we're going to be announcing in the near future that we'll let you know about.
Yeah, and I think it's already public that you work with Eigen.
We have done a little bit of work with Eigen, mostly as facilitated through our clients. Yes,
on the LIBOR.
But we do end up, yes, on the LIBOR stuff. Yeah. Look, ultimately, the skill that we've built is assessing and figuring out how to use technology. So we've done work with the SEALs. We've probably done work with every major tech platform that clients are using. There's going to be situations where clients have a strong view of, hey, I want to use this technology, and we're going to figure out how best to use it and have the expertise to drive that. And other times they're going to say, hey, what should I use? And in those instances, then we'll help recommend different technologies and approaches.
Gotcha. Let's talk about money briefly.
Yeah.
How do you bill out Factor? I'm hoping you're not going to say by the hour, but tell me, how do you do it?
Every 6-minute increment, Richard, is how we. No, I'm joking. No, most of our clients that we work with are on, 3 to 5 year long-term relationships. Right. That's going back to your earlier question on why is that different from law firms. Over the 3 to 5 year journey, we can really help these organizations change, get better, do the things that they want to accomplish, which oftentimes that's not really a mandate of a firm. A firm's mandate is usually to work on a matter and solve the problem for that matter. Exactly. Most of our, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I was just imagining a timesheet that was made out on Excel using 5-year increments.
Yeah.
Rather than 6-minute increments.
Low 6 minutes. No, so look, so most of our clients are on multi-year journeys. Most of our kind of billings are linked to that usually, like, hey, we need to accomplish X type of work over per year. And then there's some fees associated to that. That's usually how we bill. So as an organization, our goal is not to provide a resource. Our goal is to help provide an outcome, and we try to bill as close to that outcome as both is effective for us, but also easy for our customers to digest. Sometimes we come up with some pretty cool billing models, but our customers it's still early days for some of those things. So.
Got you. And in the pitch, I mean, if you ever were asked to do a pitch, I'm sure they come to you a lot directly, but perhaps sometimes it's an RFP. I mean, do you get into stuff like, well, we can do it faster, we do this stuff 24/7? I mean, how do you pitch it? You should use Factor because.
Yeah, so I think as an organization, what I've been impressed by, kind of being here for a year now, is the quality of our people. And really, like, I've joked about this a bit with some of my other colleagues, which is in past companies that I built and ran, a big part of the pitch used to be our quality control, right? It used to be like, here's the 10 things we're doing to manage quality control. That's not a big part of our presentation today because the quality is inherently through our people, right? And while we have really robust processes around quality control, while we use technology to help be belt and suspenders for that, and also to help kind of make that work be faster, more efficient, what we kind of really say is that the way complex legal work at scale happens is by taking great talent, great market know-how. In other words, talent being experienced lawyers, market know-how being, we understand the issues related to LIBOR and in a particular region and how it impacts a particular product. And then taking all those know-how things and combining it with industry-leading tech and process, and bringing that together in a way that kind of manifests in an outcome, which is what really the general counsel is really looking for. What we like to say is we try to bridge what we call old law and new law. New law is really focused on how we use leverage process and technology. Old law is really focused on great talent and market know-how. And we really try to say, hey, we're trying to bridge both of those gaps because you need both in today's market.
Gotcha. And I guess, I mean, it's kind of implicit in what you've just said that there must be some kind of economic benefits improvements as well, because, if you're going to get Kel Lipton's associate cohort to do what you do, it wouldn't be the same.
Right. And the thing I say about that is, oftentimes we anchor around cost, and in the legal market, cost has become an implication for quality, right? So Sullivan & Cromwell's most senior person cost $2,000 an hour, but a mid-tier Midwest firm here in the US, senior person costs $800 an hour. There's an inherent notion that there's a quality difference between those two. To me, what I'm saying is, we're not cheaper because there's a quality difference. Actually, we're cheaper just because we're better at doing this work than others. We're set up in a way to do and execute this work, not all work. We're not, focused on legal spend analytics, and we're not focused on e-discovery or doc review. We're not focused on invoice review. We're not focused on being the biggest consulting company for legal tech. We're focused on this type of work. We're the only ones solely focused on fixing this problem, and we're investing every dollar we make back into fixing this problem and making it better every day, every week, every year.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, it brings us nicely full circle to the very first point, which was you've now reached, or you're about to reach, 1 year in the job. Just wondered, I'll give you a moment to reflect on this. What are some of the sort of key learnings that have come from this?
Absolutely. One of the fun things I've done, Richard, over the last year is I kind of got out of my comfort zone and I started writing a bit more. So I've been trying to document a bit of my journey. And I have a bunch of posts up that kind of give a behind the scenes lessons learned, things I've screwed up over the last year on my LinkedIn page. I think for me, the most important thing has been people, right? It's been this notion that, at times I probably over anchored on the product and the solution and the pricing model, the value proposition, the competition, the tooling, the process. But really what I've come to really appreciate is the importance of our people, because without our people, what would we do, right? Everything, even to make any of those things happen, you need people to think, to drive, to document, to implement, to structure. And all of those things can't happen without them. So I think that at its core, our focus has been, last year has been a tough year with the pandemic, with I mean, a lot's gone on in this world in the last year.
Yeah.
Much of it not encouraging. When you're sitting at home, uh, and TV's your resort. If you turn that on, it doesn't give you a lot of hope. And all we can do, and we have parents that are trying to manage their kids who are working, who are also schooling from home or working from home, is be empathetic, support our people, give them everything we can to help them succeed in their lives, because then they're going to want to help our clients succeed. And that's all that matters. So that's been kind of my biggest learning. So what we've really tried to do, and we're not perfect at this, we're working on it, is, we're really driving towards trying to build an amazing culture. What we like to say is, my aspirational goal is to build the best culture in legal. And for us to do that, it's really anchoring on, giving great people the freedom to operate, not over inundating them with like tons of KPIs or requirements or metrics, but really driving them to, what is this person really good at? And how do we point them in that direction? Where do we need to invest in learning and development? And how can we help this person succeed, not just professionally, but personally as well?
Yeah.
So that's probably my biggest lesson learned. And that goes from the top, meaning our leadership team, all the way down to a new associate that's joining. And so that's kind of been my focus. We're actually kicking off for our 1-year anniversary next week, Factor Week, which we're really excited about. It's going to be a series of speakers. Our whole theme is on explore and expand. So helping all of us think about new and better ways that we can run our lives, not just work, but professionally, personally too. So we have master classes on improv and drawing and wine tasting. We have some great speakers coming from some of our great clients to market leaders. And once again, we're trying to do it all virtually, which is not easy, but the idea is to kind of really get people to understand that as our people grow, so do we, and so do our clients, and that's the benefit. And the shareholders will be fine if the clients and our people are happy. They'll be okay.